Cloverfield Paradox is a sequel to the 2008 classic Cloverfield, and it's on Netflix right now because why not just put it out 2 hours before anyone knows about it in the rest of the world? Oh my god. The year is 2028 and there is an energy crisis on Earth, so the space agencies all around the world have created the spaceship Cloverfield and have put on a particle accelerator to try and create renewable energy to save the planet. Now there are problems though potentially that there might be opening up new dimensions and all these portals and all that. And guess what? Something does go wrong, and that is Cloverfield Paradox. So Adam, what did you think of Cloverfield Paradox? What are your first initial thoughts?
I didn't think it was very good. And I kind of guessed it wasn't going to be very good when I heard that it was on Netflix, because it's a Paramount film produced by Paramount Pictures, and it was supposed to get a cinematic release, theatrical release, and they panicked because the test screenings did not go well, and they basically realized they had a shit film on their hands, and they managed to sell it to Netflix for the high price of $50 million. So I think Paramount made the right decision, and the film, it's true, is not very good.
It's exactly my thoughts. I feel like this is a very B-grade sci-fi film that you'd probably watch on a Sunday afternoon if it's pouring down with rain, and you're like, that's 2 hours worth of entertainment. However, because it's got Cloverfield slapped all over it, that it's actually going to be, they're trying to sell it to the audience, trying to get more people to watch it. And I guess it kind of worked because, you know, they advertised during the Super Bowl, like, oh, in 2 hours, there's going to be a Cloverfield movie. Yeah. And the whole world went nuts. Well, I wouldn't say the whole world, but people who like the Cloverfield movies, which I do. I do like the original one. I feel like it's a fine monster movie. And 10 Cloverfield Lane, it's kind of sequel, is I feel very entertaining too. So this one here, I just feel is a bit of a disappointment compared to those two.
I do have to say that I feel like it fits more into the franchise than 10 Cloverfield Lane
Oh,
does.
definitely, yeah.
That felt more shoehorned in. It's kind of just tacked on the end of the film. The rest of the film isn't really Cloverfield. It doesn't have that kind of high-intensity energy that the first film has. This one has that throughout most of it, and it definitely feels more like a Cloverfield film, but it's not a good film. It just feels like it fits in the franchise more. My favorite film of the franchise is the least Cloverfield film, 10 Cloverfield Lane, because it's a good film that they made into a Cloverfield film. Mm-hmm. This is a bad film that they made into a Cloverfield film. Yeah, and it doesn't make it any better.
It's very weird because, like, with the 10 Cloverfield Lane, everyone's wondering, like, well, how does this attach to the Cloverfield? And there were kind of thoughts that it might, like, the Cloverfield franchise might actually be like a Black Mirror type film franchise where each movie will have its own separate story. Yeah. So that was, I thought, was kind of interesting. Nope, this third one's like, no, this is a sequel. No, these worlds are connected in some way. Still trying to figure out how the second one is connected to all of this, but I don't know. It's very, very confusing. But the thing is, the characters are not interesting. And out of the performances, you know, there are a few actors that are on here. Daniel Bruhl, he's been German for being German. He's very substandard character. David Oyelowo, he's just the captain, who's the captain.
Chris O'Dowd.
Well, I find his character funny.
Yeah.
I don't know why he's in this film, because most of it is quite a serious film, and then he is very jokey, all over the place. I'm like, why is
even
he here?
Scenes that should be serious, he kind of makes them funny.
Yeah, and just generally, like, there are other characters, like, I think there's 7 or 8 characters in here, but none of them are interesting. Yeah. There's one from the lead female character. She kind of has a subplot with her family and all that. It's not interesting for me personally.
I found that to be surprisingly the most interesting part of the film. She was the only character who we kind of cared about. Do you agree? Like, we didn't get a backstory for any other
I just
characters.
feel like it was a very basic one. It's like they were kind of like, okay, we need something to have some type of, you know, content to this whole story, and that was it. Yeah, some heart. Yeah, that's the word. And other than that, there isn't much else going on. It's just like, science this, science that, science talk. Oh, there's
random, strange events going wrong. And
because that's the story. Is like, it's randomness, and it's just
you never see anything coming because it doesn't make any sense.
Exactly. Yeah.
Sounds like Geostorm.
Yeah, honestly, from watching the Geostorm review, I thought this film must be so similar.
It's the exact same fucking movie without Gerard Butler.
There is actually one character that has like an entire part of this whole story. It's called exposition It's called Exposition the Movie. There is so much of it. And it's basically the producers kind of like winking at the one. It's like, it's Cloverfield. It's definitely Cloverfield. The Cloverfield monster's probably going to come. It's exposition. It is so boring.
I feel like the biggest mistake this film makes is that it thinks that if you don't know what's going on, you won't be interested.
Yeah.
At the start of the movie, we don't need to know what's going on. We only need to know at the end what's going on. If you throw us into a film and the first scene is two people sitting in a car explaining what's going on in the world and why the world's like this, we're going to switch off. And basically from that moment on, I didn't care about the rest of the film.
It's lazy writing, or you can see it's like this was just a B-grade sci-fi script that they had. And they started filming halfway through. It was like, okay, actually this could potentially be a Cloverfield sequel. Let's mash in a couple of things and make sure it is. And I just find it, you can tell that it is like that. And it's sad because as I said, I enjoy the first Cloverfield. It's one of my favorite when it comes to found footage. I think they did it well for that, and they had so much potential. Where this year, it's a sci-fi B movie with Cloverfield slapped on it, and it's not very good at all.
This film feels like a TV show for about the first half of the movie.
Yeah.
The editing, the pacing, just was so overly quick. It's like films should give you time to digest and like be absorbed into this world, whereas TV shows, you don't have that time. You have to tell people what's going on. You have to rush them to the next scene. The exposition just was compounding the speed of this film and just driving it along far too quickly. I needed to absorb what was going on.
I even feel like the production value too is like right. There's kind of like a kind of high-end TV production. There is okay CGI. There is okay production value, but yeah. Even when they're running through the ships, I'm like, this kind of looks like, Star Trek from the TV series or something like that. So it looks enough like a spaceship, but it's not quite. And yeah, the production value I feel is very low. So kind of wrap things up when it comes to Cloverfield Paradox. Well, the Cloverfield Paradox, sorry, I better get that name right. It's average. It's a completely average film that you would randomly see on Netflix. Like, oh, what is this? And there's nothing exciting about it. There's nothing new about it except that it has Cloverfield on the name. I wouldn't rate it at all. Maybe check it out one day when you're incredibly bored and you've got nothing else to do. And I'm going to give it a 4. It's only okay.
Out of 5?
No,
good.
Not at all.
Just checking. How I felt about this film, I was a bit disappointed and switched off pretty much from the start. Maybe I would have enjoyed it more if they'd eased me into it, but nope, that didn't happen. It just felt like like you said, a low budget kind of film or a B-grade film or a TV show.
Yeah.
It was trying to be almost like an episode of Black Mirror.
Yeah.
But didn't quite pull it off. If you want to see a good film that has a very similar plot to this, watch Danny Boyle's Sunshine. That is a fantastic film. It's one of my favorite films.
I want to watch it again. Sunshine is amazing.
And this film just doesn't compare. It's very similar, but
it's not even on the same scale. No.
Not even close. So I'm going to give this a 4 out of 10 also.
Well, there we go. Well, there you go, guys. The Cloverfield Paradox. We didn't care for it. How about you guys? Are you actually going to watch it? Or do you actually like, the other Cloverfields? Make blah 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 blah. What was I doing with my hands? I'm pointing down my penis.
You point to things. Probably not worth watching. If you haven't seen the first 2 Cloverfields, I'd probably check those out.
Yeah, those are real fun, entertaining ones.
You can skip this one. Watch Sunshine instead. That's a fantastic film.
Until next time, guys.
Subscribe, like, comment,
all that jazz. We'll see you later. Out.